My family's been here for 100 years. My great-grandparents moved here in 1916. I was born and raised right here on the farm. We had a dairy farm when I was a little boy. For the last 15 years, my wife Amy and I have transitioned the farm over to raising grass-fed beef and pasture-raised hogs, trying to raise animals in a more environmentally friendly, humane way.
One of my most fondest memories is watching my grandfather bake. We were like the real traditional village bakery in Italy. The brick oven that we had in the back of my grandparents' house, it was a community oven. People would come and literally use our oven and bake their breads or bake their chickens or their pigs.
My wife and I both grew up here, had caught the wine bug, traveling all through the West Coast, most of Europe. Moved back and saw this land and realized, almost prototypical vineyard growing soils.
I think what makes Tupelo honey special and really sets it apart is very thoughtful about where and why we purchase things. When we're searching for the right products and the right vendors to bring on into our family, I think that we start with a really important set of criteria. I spend a lot of time visiting our purveyors and I look at their facilities. I go to see where products are processed, how they're shipped, and are they kept safe throughout the whole process. Does that product come from a place that we can be proud to offer?
My favorite part of my job is getting to meet people. It's great in the sense that you get these life-changing experiences of seeing what it is that they produce, but really it comes down to who the person is. So it's important to find vendors that are sustainable and have quality products because it's really an indication of how you do business yourself. And obviously Tupelo Honey really cares about what that responsibility is, and we impart that to our vendors as well.
Tupelo is one of the first restaurants we ever sold to. As we grew and as Tupelo Honey grew, we have developed and forged a partnership that I think is going to help transition agriculture to a more sustainable, humane, environmentally friendly future.
Tupelo has really allowed us to grow. Tupelo was a new thing for us. It really allowed us to take our baking to the next level.
One of the real treats about having real partnerships with our vendors is that we get to work creatively with one another. We're able to call them up and say, we're thinking about some sort of brioche bun for a new breakfast sandwich, and could you make it a little more dense or could you make it a little smaller?
Being a small specialty house as we are, we're able to create that versus your mass-produced baking companies.
That opportunity wouldn't be available to us if we were working with the products that everybody else already has on the market and what's already out there.
There's a hunger, literally and figuratively, for all things of the Mountain South throughout the country.
The greatest pairing concept in the history of the world is get the wine from the place where the cheese comes from. Get the sparkling from the place that the oyster comes from. So we always try to tell our vendors that we want that Mountain South flavor and then say, well, they also come from the same place. You're starting at one of the greatest points of pairing. We want to be responsible in that sense, but it also imparts an amazing step up in flavor.
I think responsibly sourced is about knowing where your food comes from. And if we don't have products that we can stand by, we're just like everybody else. We take the time and the effort to go all the way back to the very beginning of the supply chain and say that is a product that we're proud to offer.